Disability Talk with Shane, thanks to Clubmates Travel, our supported holiday specialist. TAD Australia changes the lives of people living with a disability by providing specialised technology, equipment and services. Scott Miller joins me to explain more. Welcome to the podcast, Scott.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you. Hey, Scott, what is your role at Solve TAD and what does the business do?
Yeah, look, so Solve TAD is the amalgamation of two entities. Solve and TAD were both established about 45 years ago. And their purpose is to create solutions for people living with disability to access the world more on their terms. And so that means with in-house occupational therapists and volunteers, we build and design and manufacture unique solutions, and it's really exciting. And so my role is as chief executive, and I'm proud and privileged to lead a team of 30 paid staff and about 150 volunteers that range from engineers to architects to boat builders, IT salespeople. You know, we've got an extraordinary range of people, contributing collectively to our workforce to make the lives of people just that little bit easier.
Can you give us an example of a type of equipment you build?
We build all sorts of things. When I first started here 3 months ago, I was blown away by the variety of things that are conceived and are manufactured. We have partnerships with other engineering firms, but in-house we have a very complicated CNC machine which can take computer designs and build them on wooden on wooden sheets of plywood and things like that. And so we also engineer metal fabrication and things like that to fit really the specific dimensions of what's required by the individual that comes to us to seek for help. So really, the range of things that we build is just mind blowing. So, for example, we've built custom trays for somebody to have a computer mouse, a step and rail for somebody to get in and out of a spa. Last week we had a volunteer telling us about a specific cot for a child modification that was designed. So these things are always things that are not commercially available, which are things that you can't go down to the Big W and buy for your child because it's not fit for their purpose, for their standards. So we also deal with people that have got mobility problems into older ages and stages. So things like a shopping trolley armrest, trampoline stairs, a wheelchair transfer step. The number of things that this organisation, through the ingenuity of its volunteers, can manufacture is quite something.
If I wanted to get something, do you assist with funding for the equipment? If I wanted to get something?
Yeah. So look, typically a lot of people will access us through their NDIS package. However, sometimes we work with people to understand what they have available in terms of access through their own packages, and sometimes we support them with funding that we can access through philanthropy, and sometimes we have other means as well of working in partnership with interested parties. So really, as a charity, it's our role to not look at clearly making a profit, but it's really about providing people the opportunity to access their community as best as possible, and where we can, to make sure that that's not a cost prohibitive part of the equation. I would like to think our biggest challenge is making sure what we provide is fit for purpose, but clearly, we need to fund volunteers' effort through their reimbursements and things. So, I believe, we are certainly doing our best to keep our costs as best as we can.
How important are volunteers to the organisation, please?
Mm. Well, this organisation was founded by volunteers, and it's maintained its absolute commitment to their centrality to the operations of how we go about things. From the volunteer board through to the volunteers, some of them have been with us from inception of the organisation. So these are some people that are getting on in life now, but have had a role that has stemmed a great deal of their life. And so without volunteers, we wouldn't be able to provide the products and the services that we do. Our whole business model is predicated on volunteers' involvement and leveraging their experience, and then being able to provide an environment where they can share and transfer knowledge between one another, such that it's not an isolated experience. It can be for some people that choose to do their manufacturing in their own workshop, what have you. But we like to think that we provide not only social but informational opportunities to ensure that people can learn and grow together.
Can you share more about Freedom Wheels, please?
Yeah, look, so Freedom Wheels are basically how we can afford to keep providing unique solutions. Freedom Wheels are bikes that have been designed specifically for the interests of people that need some extra support to experience the joy of riding a bike. And so we're really close to releasing bikes that Solvtad has designed from the ground up. So every part of the bike is considered for the needs of people with different abilities. So we have a range of bikes, and those sometimes are what looks like a standard bike, but have some subtle modifications, and sometimes some quite obvious modifications, which might include a chest harness or strap, and some other features that can make them fit for purpose. We also do 3-wheel bikes or trikes, and we're finding a lot of people are experiencing an interest in electrifying their bikes. So the pedal assist is a wonderful sort of invention for the needs of people that want to get out there and enjoy that freedom without having to lose steam or puff, to be able to enjoy the fun of getting out and amongst the others with bikes.
Do you do any? Can you explain more about the electric bikes if you do them?
Yeah, so some of our bikes are able to be electrified. So we have battery packs, and we have a bike mechanic and volunteer bike mechanics that are able to put the battery packs into the bike system, so that it provides that extra support to be able to move around freely on a bike. I mean, I have an electric bike as well, and gosh, it's the best thing I ever did was upgrading from my standard bike to the electric bike. And it just means people can go further and enjoy with less effort the joy of being out and about.
So I'm looking at getting an electric bike. I was trying to find someone who I could use, and with my NDS plan, everywhere I looked, a little bit too dear.
Well, maybe come and chat to us after this phone call, and we can have a chat to see what your needs are and whether we can do something about that. Look, I think increasingly people are going to see electric bikes as the standard, and that's great, because as you know from your own interest in pedal assist, it just makes riding a bike more about the experience and less about the effort required to push your pedals around.
And you share a success story.
Look, we I think for us with the bikes, some of the most wonderful experiences that we have volunteer drivers do is deliver the bike, and the story that they come back to the office to say, this young person, this young child wants to keep up with their siblings, or they want to feel like they've had that sense of doing what everybody else does is sometimes the most incredibly rewarding experience, that they can have that sense of freedom, which is why we call them freedom wheels, to be involved, and so to share with that, and is a very profound experience that our volunteers just think is some of the best things, and also for parents to kind of see their child doing something that wouldn't feel was possible, given some children have some pretty complex disorders that make it difficult to think that the coordination that is required for riding a bike can be done with the supports that our therapy team and our engineers can provide. So it's quite a profound experience to be able to enjoy that flow of what riding does for people.
How do we make contact or follow you on socials?
Yep. So our organisation is called solvetad.org.au, solve-tad.org.au, or you can find us on our socials. We've got an active Facebook page full of stories, regularly about what our teams are doing and the opportunities that they're bringing to communities across New South Wales and Victoria that promote the joy of movement and the sense of building a solution for people that may have thought they couldn't do something because they couldn't find a product in the market, but then to be able to have that sense of opportunity is a very exciting thing. So look, just tap in Solve Tad on your Facebook page, and we're there. And the most recent story that we posted is about the Victorian Disability Sport and Rec Awards, and we had 2 finalists in that event, and it just shows just some of the strength of what our people are doing to help others to achieve their own success.
There's one question I forgot to put in. Where are you located?
Mm-hmm. So our offices are based in Abbotsford in Melbourne, and also in Northmead, which is just outside of Parramatta CBD in New South Wales. But we also have regional branches of volunteers across the states. So I was recently in Geelong and the Barwon region. I'm going down to Mornington Peninsula in a few weeks, and up in New South Wales, we've got folks in Wagga, should I say, and the Hunter Valley, that are out there doing these things on our behalf, where our team can't reach. And we're very lucky to have such a committed bunch of staff and volunteers working together for the success of people's own dreams.
Thanks very much for being on my podcast today, Scott. I look forward to seeing you on the bike path in the future.
You bet, Shane. My pleasure. Thanks for having me on. It's been an absolute delight, and all the best with your podcast.
I will. Thank you.
Cheers.
This has been another edition of Disability Talk with Shane. Thanks to Clubmates Travel, a supported holiday specialist. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Spotify.